to Lucena.
Before the journey could continue, we needed to search for the perfect road trip companion.
There's something about the drive from Granada to Cordoba. It's more than the road beneath you. It's the hills, the olive trees, stretching on forever. They're perfect, like pieces of a puzzle that were always meant to fit. Row after row, so precise, planted by hand. Someone spent their life making sure every tree stood exactly where it should. It's mesmerizing, really, how they catch the light, flickers of green and gold, dancing as you pass by. Just trees and sky, fitting perfectly, like it's all part of some grand design.
So we picked Lucena because it's this quaint little town in the province of Cordoba.
Yep.
And it's in the center of Andalusia, and it actually gives you great access to different cities here in Andalusia.
This region. Yeah. And we're spending one day here. We explore around this. It's super cute. We also wanted like a bit more of a small city vibe, and then we're gonna head to the bigger city, the main attraction, Cordoba, tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Now, what's really interesting is while we're doing a bit of research, we realized that this little province, this little region, produces pretty much all of Spain's olive oil and has some of the best. So we're excited to try that.
There even is a special like certificate you get with
the designation, similar to wine and everything. So we're really excited. We're sitting around. It's before the heat starts to hit us, and the locals are out enjoying it as well. And to be honest, filming these series is interesting in these small little towns because everyone just gives you a little look, but they're all very sweet. Kat and I are gonna go and check into our hotel, which is the Donna Lola Apartments. It's a little boutique hotel apartment. And then we will kind of explore the rest of this little city.
The Doña Lola Apartments offer a perfect central location with convenient parking available for guests at a special rate of just €10 per day. They're modern and thoughtfully designed, offering a comfortable base to explore the city at your own pace. After being in Granada, the slow morning in Lucena felt refreshing. The streets are quiet, with the sounds of people starting their day, and the cafes preparing for the morning rush. Walking through the town, we were seeing neighbors and locals greet each other, exchanging stories from the night before. That sense of community brings a certain charm when you travel to a small town like Lucena.
Katerina and I stopped at one of the coffee shops on the main square. We ordered pan con tomata for breakfast, and it was served with their delicious local olive oil. Lucena is nestled in the heart of Andalusia. The city is rich in history and culture with a stunning church that is centuries old. The surrounding olive groves and rolling hills add to the town's picturesque beauty, making it a hidden gem for those looking to experience authentic Andalusian life away from the tourist crowds.
As the evening fell onto the town, we felt the energy rise. Locals started to flood to the main square, gravitating towards their favorite spots. Michael and I had a drink at the El Lagar wine bar. We were gifted 2 glasses of wine there by our hotel. Afterwards, we headed for tapas at Cerveceria El Tonel. It was such a fun experience to eat there because we were truly the only tourists and were just sitting amongst all the locals. It was the perfect way to end our day in Lucena.
The next morning we headed to Cordoba. The drive was a quick straight shot from city to city. We parked near the main boardwalk and headed for breakfast at Roldan. Even though it is a bakery chain, our friend had recommended it to us, so we wanted to go. This time we chose the pan con tomata y jamon. We had a full size each, but considering they're quite big, we could have definitely shared one between the two of us.
continue our morning, we started heading towards the old town with its narrow, winding streets. Even though you're in a busy city, those small streets can make you feel like you're by yourself. As we walked through the alleys and streets, we kept saying how crazy it is to think that at one time, bulls would run through them.
Always had a way to make it work and find another route. Always had a way to make it work and find another route. Always had a way to make it work and find another route.
As the temperature rose in the afternoon, we decided to go for lunch. We found a cool food market called Mercado Victoria that served a big selection of local and international food items. The best part? It was open all afternoon and had air conditioning.
Cordoba has this understated beauty. The way those flower-covered balconies just blend into the streets without feeling forced. It's like the city's not even trying, but the pops of color from the flowers against the old stone walls just work. You walk past them and it's not over the top. Just simple and effortlessly nice.
Always had a way to make it work and find another route.
Cordoba has this layered history that you can't miss. It's like every corner has a story. From the mosques and cathedrals to the old town, you're always reminded of the different people who've built it and lived in the city. Then there's the Roman bridge, standing there like it has all the time in the world. Once you've walked across it and look back towards the Mezquita with the river below, it makes you realize how much history this place has seen. It's not in your face, but it's all there, part of the everyday scene.
The Mezquita is hard to put into words until you see it in person. It feels really grand and the space is massive, but not in an overwhelming way. Even as Katerina and I explored on our own, I had no problem tracking where she was. It started out as a mosque, then they turned it into a cathedral, so you got this mix of architectural styles all in one building. The arches, the columns, it's all really intricate, but still kind of understated. What's crazy is how the two styles just work together seamlessly, like they've been in conversation for centuries. It's one of those places where history isn't just something you read about, it's right there, in the walls. It's a place not to be missed. The tickets are €13, easy to purchase via QR code scan at the main entrance. And that was our day in Cordoba. It was a hot one.
It is still a hot one.
Yeah. It was the first day that we spent in Andalusia where we didn't take a siesta break. And I think in the months of July and August, I think it's very recommended to. But since we stayed in Lucena, driving to Cordoba is about 55 minutes. So we didn't really want to make the trek back and forth just for a siesta.
So we hid out at that beautiful food court that you saw, which was Mercado Victoria. And the day here was really great.
It was awesome. Yeah, it's a city that feels like like a metropolitan city, but it has that beautiful old town as well.
Yeah, it was probably the biggest city feel that we have felt so far, with those tiny side streets, and it's perfect for photos and some video clips if you need it. It is crowded, but when you find some of those corridors, it feels like you're by yourself.
We couldn't leave Cordoba without having dinner at a place our friend suggested. We headed back into the main city again, being greeted with all the beautiful Spanish architecture. The restaurant we went to was Taberna La Montillana. One of the specialty dishes in Andalusia are cold soups. We chose mazamorra, which is an almond and garlic soup, as well as salmorejo, made of tomato, bread, and olive oil. They were perfectly refreshing after a hot, long day without a siesta. For our mains, we shared flamenquites, a Cordoba staple, breaded deep-fried pork loin. We also ordered crepes filled with lamb and ras el hanout sauce, pulling from that North African influence.
After dinner, we headed back to our car. We had parked at Parking El Vial, which is a little out of the center, but the easiest to access, avoiding all the small, narrow roads. Parking there for 12 hours was about 10 euros.
Next up, a stunning city. Some might call it the showstopper of the region. We'll take in the views from one of its most iconic structures, blending the modern with the historical.
Beyond the city streets and famous sites, we'll dive into the local food culture, where tradition and imaginative flavors meet on every plate. Our road trip through Andalusia continues with moments that reveal the true character of Spain, shaped by its cities, local customs, and people.